This lesson is find the general solutions. Here we have one equation, two equation with one variable, two variable, three variable. So two equations with three variables. First equation, first row. Second equation, second row. 1, -2, -1, 3. First row, 3, -6, -2, 2, second row. Since this right here is already a 1, we leave it alone. One more time. Since this is a 1, we leave it alone. So now we need this 3 to become a 0. So the only way to get this 3 become a 0, we do -3, opposite of this number. Okay, so one more time. This is already a 1, leave it alone. So rewrite the first row down here. Next, we want this 3 to become a 0, so we multiply by the opposite of 3, which is -3. So -3 times row 1 plus row 2. So -3 times 1, -3. 3 plus 3, 0. -3 times -2, +6. 6 subtract 6 gives me 0. -3 times -1, +3. Subtract 2 gives me 1. -3 times 3, -9. Plus 2 gives me -7. As you can see, the second row now becomes 0, 0, 1, -7. Next, we want this spot right here to become a 0. And the reason why this spot becomes a 0, because here there is no 1. So we're going to skip this and move on to this one. One more time. We want this -1 to become a 0 because there's nothing here. So we can skip to the next. Okay, so one more time. Because this is a 0, then we skip to the next one. If there was something here, then we need to change. But there's nothing here, we move to the next. Okay, again, because there's nothing here, we can skip to the next one. If there is something here, then we need to change this. Okay, so we want this to become a 0. So the opposite of -1 will be +1, which I wrote here, R1 plus 1 times R2. One more time, R1 plus 1 times R2. So 1 times 1 gives me 1 plus -1 gives me this 0. 1 times -7 gives me -7. -7 plus 3, -4. One more time. We need this to become a 0, so the opposite is +1. So we're going to multiply +1, R2, and then add to R1. So one more time. 1 times 1 gives me +1. Subtract 1, 0. 1 times -7 gives me -7. Plus 3 gives me -4. Okay? And now we are completely done. So we need to rewrite that into this form. This is x1, this is x2, this is x3, equal the constant. So x1 minus x2, and then equal the constant. Okay, so x1 minus 2x2. Since there is no third variable, so we'll just equal the constant, which is -4. So this is x1, x2, x3 constant. So 1x1 minus 2x2, there is no x3, so we skip, equal -4. Now we solve for x1, so bring the x2 over, so this is negative, so become +2x2 minus 4. Do the same thing in the bottom row. There's nothing here, there's nothing here, so we move on to this one. So this is x3. x3 equal -7. x3 equal -7. Okay, so one more time. There is something here, so we say x1 minus 2x2 equal -4. Solve for x1, bring the negative 2x2 over, become positive x2 minus 4. Okay, one more time. There is something here, so x1 minus 2x2 equal negative 4. Solve for x1, so bring this negative 2 over, so become positive 2x2 minus 4. Okay, next, right here, this is x2. Since there's nothing here in x2, then we can label free. One more time, there is no x2, so we'll label free. Next, there is something in x3, so x3 equal negative 7. Okay, and this is already solved, so we leave it alone. One more time, where did we get these? This is x1. There is something in x1, so x1 minus 2x2 equal negative 4. Solve for x1, bring this negative 2 over, so become positive 2x2 minus 4. Next, this right here is x2, but there is no x2, so we say free. Next, there is something in x3, so x3 equal negative 7, which I have here, and this is already solved. So the general solution to this equations is x1 equal to x2 minus 4, x2 which is free, and x3 equal negative 7. One more time. The general solution for these equations is x1 equal to x2 minus 4, x2 equal free, x3 equal negative 7. So that is the general solutions. Why do we have x1? Because we have x1. Why is x2 free? Because there's nothing here. x3 is negative 7. So this is the general solutions to this equations. One more time. This is the general solutions to this equation, these equations. Okay.